What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So last week we went over a guitar restring on just a plain standard guitar, nothing too special about it. The bridge was just a normal bridge that came with the guitar. This week I wanted to get a little bit more technical and get into the Floyd Rose Tremolo system on how to restring that. There was a couple people that approached me after last week's episode and asked, well, why don't you work on a tremolo system, something like the Floyd Rose, which makes up a vast majority of my guitars. One of them happens to be the producer of my band, Purge The Heretics, and that's right, Kyle, I'm calling you out. But as fate would have it, I just so happen to have a guitar, right back there actually, that needs restringing, and it has the Floyd Rose Tremolo system on it. So without further ado, let's check it out. This is my Schecter C7 Silver Mountain FRS. So the FR stands for the Floyd Rose bridge right here. S stands for the Sustainiac pickup, but we will touch on the Sustainiac at a later time. Today we're going to be talking about the Floyd Rose. So the Floyd Rose it's a tremolo system, so it has your whammy bar, you have your bar right here. Also, it is a floating bridge, so there's nothing underneath here except some springs holding it back to keep the tension on the strings here, and then you also want to keep it flush with the body. Having a floating bridge is really cool because you can go up, you can also go down. There's a lot of really cool dynamics that you can do in the studio or even live, adding a little bit of finesse. So first things first, we gotta loosen down the strings to get it off of here. First, you gotta take off these locking nuts right here. What these guys do, they clamp down on the strings to keep it in tune while you're wailing on the whammy bar, and I'll tell you, that is a lifesaver, so you're not tuning every 30 seconds. So let's undo that, and you'll use a hex wrench here, and all the guitars that have Floyd Rose, they're gonna come with a set of these, so no need to worry on which size exactly. And I like to keep them exactly how they came off of there because the strings create a little indentation on the inside of it, and I think it just kind of helps it along. So set that down there. Okay, and then when I'm unwinding the strings, I like to hold the whammy bar down to keep the tension so that as I'm loosening one string, it's not getting tighter on the other, and then that one will snap. So I hold that down. Alright, now that they have a bunch of slack on them, you can let go of the whammy bar, and it'll just kind of go back down into the floating bridge divot back here. And while we have the strings loose, let's cut them. Now the strings are cut, we got to get them out of the Floyd Rose bridge right here. There is a graphite piece that is being clamped down on the string to hold it in place in the bridge. In order to get those undone, we got to unscrew the screws right here that are clamping down on the graphite piece and pushing it into the string. It is the exact same hex wrench that we used up at the nut. Be careful not to pull out the graphite piece when you're taking the string out, because it can fall down in here and it'll take forever for you to get it out. So then I just tighten these screws right back up, about hand tight is good enough. Alright. From here on, you'll uncoil the strings from the tuning pegs. The strings are now off. now it's time to oil the fretboard and polish the body. And today, just like last time, I'm using the Music Nomad products. Then you take any old rag, go up and down those frets. Get all that grime off of it. And then we will polish. And this guitar has a gloss finish versus the matte finish that the last guitar had. So I'm gonna do a little bit of an extra step with the polishing as well. But we'll start the same as I did the last. And then the final product, just a little extra finesse. It's for guitars with a gloss finish on it. So usually I would do it one string at a time. I'd connect it down here and then wind it up at the headstock. For video purposes, I'm going to go ahead and put each string into the saddles down here first, and then we'll move on to the headstock and wind it up there. So the first string is the 7th string. I use the DDT 11 through 65 gauge for the 7th string. They've always been good to me and I've really enjoyed their product. So you unwind the string. And with the Floyd Rose, it's just a little bit different. Since there's no bridge for you to put the string through, you really have no need for this ball right here. So what you do is you find where it, see if I can get to focus here. You find where it goes down to that wind right there and it stops. That's where I cut it. And that's just regular string after that. So I pull back on the Floyd Rose, bring it back forward, unscrew the screw holding the graphite piece forward, and then you just kind of slide it right into the notch there. And then you grab your hex wrench, and you tighten down on that. Make sure not to over tighten these. I've made that mistake before and I totally stripped out the saddle and it is a pain in the butt to replace. And we'll move on to the other strings. Alright, there you have it. Let's move on to the headstock. And then from here on out, it's pretty much like a regular guitar restring. Start with the lowest one. Bring it up to the tuning peg. Measure about 3 to 2 inches out. Make the cut. And then always go from the inside to the outside when you're winding. I like to get that nice and tight, not all the way, so you're bringing up the bridge, because that's going to put a ton of tension on the strings that you don't need, and the string can run the risk of snapping on you. Alright, now all the strings are on it. We've got to tune it up. When you're dealing with a Floyd Rose bridge, always tune from the outside in. So first you'll do the 7th, the 1st, the 6th, the 2nd, the 5th, the 3rd, and then the 4th. And you'll do it in that pattern. That way it keeps the floating bridge balanced. And then once you have everything set up, everything is all tuned up the way you like it without the locking nuts on, then you'll go ahead and you'll put them on. Alright, I have her all tuned up, she's sounding good. I got the locking nuts back on, and once you have the locking nuts back on, if you ever need to tune the guitar, you'll use these pegs right here on top of each of the strings. If you unscrew it, it's going to go lower in pitch, and if you screw in, it'll go up in pitch. And then when you get new strings on there, make sure you unscrew it all the way and then you screw it back in a little bit so you have a little bit of leeway on both ends of it. But let's plug it in. Let's see how it sounds. And that is it for today's video. Thank you so much everyone for watching. As usual, if you liked the video, please smash that like button down below. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you thought on my method on doing the Floyd Rose Tremolo system. And then if you could subscribe to my page and hit that bell notifier, you will never miss a video that I post ever again. As usual, this is Chris with High Impact Audio, and thank you so much. We will see you next time.